a right-footed centre half as well. That's the thing now because
Yeah,
Martinez is fit now. Let's suppose he's fit and he stays fit.
yeah.
Well, you need someone to play next to him, and I'm not here for Lindelof or
Nah.
Maguire.
Well, they're banking on Todibo, aren't they? From Nice.
Yeah, maybe because that's an easier deal to do, so they are not really on it at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think Everton need the money before the 1st of July or something. So maybe that's
Oh,
why.
is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because of financial things, I think they need to clear money, not to
Yeah.
make money in order not to be in trouble. So that's why
Yeah.
I think maybe you're going for that.
But you know what, as well, I see something yesterday that there's going to be new owners at Everton, and they might
Yeah,
look at it and think, well, we might sell him for more now, or might not sell him.
and I
So,
think those owners are. I think it's Saudi Arabia.
oh, really?
I think Saudi Arabia. I think it's again it's
Right.
royal family, but they are going to do just like Qatar did with PSG and United, like separate entities. But we know what
Yeah.
because when PSM trying to buy United, of course, it's the Qatari royal family, and they are the same that own PSG as well. But
Mm.
I think legally and financially, they can show that those two entities that would buy the clubs are separate.
Are separate. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Saudi can do the same thing. Of they have enough money to buy lawyers and finance.
Yeah.
Because if
Well,
Everton get bought by the Saudis, it's a wrap as well. Like now it's a problem.
yeah.
But I'm not.
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't know what to say really, man, because as
It's
you
me.
mentioned, Rashford, Bruno. I
Gone.
don't really think I can take Rashford, Bruno, Hoyland, and Garnacho front four next season.
No,
I
because I
can't.
work way too hard for it. I work way too hard on my daily life to get.
Yeah, honestly, it was painful watching this season. I can't go through that again, honestly. Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? I don't really know what to make of Man United now, if I'm honest, because we don't know who's going to be signed. We don't know who's going to go. The club is in upheaval, obviously, and
Because we need 10
the
players.
sorry?
We need 10 players.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah, literally. Yeah, I don't know really, man. It's just annoying because as you can see, I'm deflated just talking about Man United now because my
it's
hopes
not.
were up for this manager being changed. At least we could have seen players that weren't playing, like Ahmad playing. But yeah, if I'm Ahmad, I'm leaving because he's got an 85 million signing that has to be used.
Yeah.
Um, he plays Garnacho out there. So realistically, what game time is Ahmad going to get? Sancho, obviously, I want Sancho to come back, but
I think
obviously we're not sure what's happening with that now.
exactly.
Same with
I was
Greenwood as well.
same as
Was
well.
that
You know
Greenwood's
what?
going Juventus?
I was talking with my brother about the Ahmad thing. He said, I
Mm.
think he's worried, but not that worried because now I think the structure and the people in place are going to have much more like
Influence.
influence. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
this guy we need to see him. So we
yeah,
would like you to play him a bit more, or he's part of the plans and maybe you're not. So maybe they will speak with the agent, with Ahmad as well.
yeah.
I don't like that much that the structure is like interfering with the manager's decision on the pitch.
Mm.
I don't like it because I think that's what happened with Rashford for years.
It's undermining in the sense, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with this Ten Hag guy, I don't mind. I don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Don't
yeah.
don't make decisions.
Do you know what? Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's undermining, but purely for this Ten Hag guy who consistently picks the wrong team, I wouldn't mind this regime happening. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly,
but
because Ahmad is not going to be playing.
mm.
Like the money for Brightweight now, we spent that on Mason Mount last year. And look, let's suppose now
You know
the
what?
season.
I keep forgetting about him. Keep forgetting
Yeah,
about
of
Mason
course,
Mount.
of course. Because the first we could have signed him for free now
Yeah,
because he was on the last year of his contract. So 60 million for a guy on his last year is terrible, terrible business. And he was a priority number one. And club signing, maybe, but that shows that I don't know. And he wanted him, and he worked with him, or at least he went. He was on loan in the Netherlands. At least he knows Mount.
yeah.
And let's suppose everyone's fit at the start of the season, and we bought in, let's say, a left back and two center halves, which is
Mm,
actually like priority.
yeah,
If everyone's fit, he will pick that left back or Luke Shaw. We never know because he might pick Luke Shaw first.
yeah.
He will pick Martinez and the other right center half. Let's
Mm.
suppose he
And
will
Dallo.
probably pick Dalot.
Mm.
He will pick Bruno and Kobe. So now, what happens to the other midfielder that we buy if we buy one? And what happens to Mason Mount? That was the priority signing. Like he
Yeah,
can't play both sides of the field.
I think what's happened really is that, and he snookered himself, Ten Hag. The
With
emergence
Kobe.
of Kobe Minu, yeah,
Yeah,
has messed up his plans because Kobe has to play. And it's like, well, you've spent 60 million on Mount, Bruno's the captain, and it's like you can't play all three of them together. It ain't gonna work. So really and truly, he's wasted 60 million to bring in Mount when Kobe was there. Really, when you think
exactly.
about it.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
is what I said earlier. He's spending money like it's his dad's. Like he's just not counting. Like, like, bro, come on, get a grip. Get a grip.
Oh man.
Because look, I don't mind Mason Mount, to be honest. I would probably pick him over Bruno because I think
Mm.
Bruno probably offers you more in terms of goals and this and that, but I think Mount offers you more in terms of team performance
Yeah,
and
yeah. I agree.
and
Yeah. Mm.
he's less wasteful. I don't
Yeah.
think they are. I think they are both not great, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I like Kobe, but I want someone else so that Kobe doesn't have to play every game. Because if Kobe doesn't play, we don't have a proper a midfield player. I don't think we have a proper footballer in the midfield if Kobe doesn't play.
Yeah.
So that invites McTominay straight into it. I like Amrabat. I think Amrabat should have played more and should play
Mm.
more. And if we don't have, let's suppose Amrabat is still here next season, he
Yeah.
has to play because Casemiro, he's falling out with the manager. He might be leaving. So that leaves us with Kobe, Mount, Bruno, McTominay, Amrabat, Ericsson probably leaving. So you need someone at least that
Yeah.
can that disciplined. Even if you don't rate Amrabat, you need someone at least that has a bit of responsibility that will
Mm.
scan a bit like Matic, a bit like Casemiro, a bit like Rodri. Someone that would say, you know what, I can't go just running around. Because if you have Mount, Kobe, and Bruno, that means you're basically playing with a front six
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
no one in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I think the only problem is now, though, as I said, it's like what what money's available to go and get a good midfielder. I mean, there's been talk about João Neves. Playing João Neves and Kobe, I don't know if that's going to be a good thing. That's more like fantasy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To play them two 19-year-olds and a Bruno. I don't know if that's going to work. And obviously,
Bruno.
he's going to cost a lot of money anyway. So I can't really see who's out there that's available for United to get and at what price.
I
So
think they would.
This whole Mason Mount spending 60 million
It's a disgrace.
has yeah, it's been a waste because if there's no money to spend and you've got someone like Mount there, what are you going to do with Mount? Because if he thinks he can play Kobe, Mount, and Bruno together, he better think again because that's not going to work.
That's not happening, especially with Rashford and Garnacho just doing whatever they want.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think Man United are in trouble. Next season.
Yeah,
As
we
it
are. I think,
stands now, they're in trouble because the lineup that we're predicting that he's probably going to play, I can't see how that's ever going to work. So
yeah, because I think we can safely expect, and they want a striker as well. I think striker is a
yeah,
priority, and
yeah,
I think we need another striker. That's clear.
yeah.
But let's suppose the money will go either in midfield or striker.
Mm.
Can't have both, like considering the problems we have in defense. So I think it's safe to expect Rashford, Hoyland, Garnacho, Anthony on the right
Yeah.
as a front three. I think it's safe to expect that at least. I think it's the most likely. And then
Sorry, a front three of Rashford, Hoyland, and
either
Garnacho
Anthony.
or Anthony.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I would pick
mm,
Ahmad ahead of both, but
yeah,
we know who we're dealing with. So I think it's not too unrealistic to expect that.
yeah,
And then the midfield, like we just said, I think I think we might buy Amrabat because I think it's going to be 20 million,
Gee,
and that's the
yeah,
money
yeah,
we have. Because we can't spend much more than that considering all the players we need to buy. Because
yeah,
defense is a problem. We didn't have one fit left back the entire season.
yeah, mm,
That's terrible. And now Casemiro might leave because he's falling out with the manager. So
yeah.
And we could get some good money. I think the money from Casemiro probably will help us buy someone in midfield, maybe.
But
Or
how much?
probably
It depends how much you're looking at, though. I mean,
how much do you expect from yeah, I think you're right
well,
though.
he's on a massive wage anyway. So I think personally, 30 to 40 million.
Yeah, I would take it.
Yeah,
But then
I
again,
think I
that's
think Saudi will. I think Saudi would pay that 30 to 40 million, and obviously give
because
him a big wage. But
exactly they'll pick the wages because the wages is the problem for us. Because we can't expect someone like Bayern Munich to come in to spend 75 million on Casemiro and pay his wage. That's not
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
So you have to take a cut. You have
Oh
to take
man,
like a cut
the
on the
more the
price.
more you think about these things, you think who sanctioned these deals to give him this amount of money? You know?
Well, I know. I don't have much of a problem with the money Casemiro's on. I have much.
Yeah,
My problem is why did we get him in the first place for that money?
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, someone that comes in with 5 Champions Leagues, 2 or 3 Ligas, and Copa del Rey and stuff like that, achieved almost everything at club level. You expect him to be on 300 grand a week if you are
mm,
Manchester United, because you are
yeah,
a rich a top club. He was on that money at Madrid. And at some, I'm a big fan of big clubs and behaving like big clubs. Like I like standing, I like protocol as well. I like, okay, we are very rich, and this is a very, very like decorated player. He
yeah,
gets his money. I have a bigger problem with Anthony on 220. I have a much more bigger problem with Sancho on 350. I love Sancho, but you don't get that money to that player at that age.
yeah.
A Varane on 325, 340 makes sense to me because it's Varane, World Cup champ, 4 Champions League, this, that.
They've got pedigree in the game. Yeah,
Exactly. Rashford
mm,
and Martial on 250. That was a lot of
yeah,
money.
yeah,
Rashford is a disgrace on 350 or something like that.
mm,
But
yeah,
Casemiro and Varane earning a lot of money, I don't mind it. But
yeah.
then
They,
again, the
they've they've
problem
done
is,
things in the game. Yeah, yeah,
exactly, you have to treat the players with a certain respect. And if
yeah,
it's not respect for them, it's respect for you.
yeah,
Like, like
yeah,
we are Manchester United. We do things a certain way with a
mm,
certain standing. But the problem is the Maguire on 220 or 190, something like
190.
that,
Yeah,
on the back of like 4 relegations. That's not a good look. Don't give that to the player with 4 relegations, now 5 on his CV.
mm,
It's that's the problem. Anthony on 208. That's
yeah.
terrible.
I think he went from 20 grand to 200. 200.
How about that for a pay rise? Bro, I've never seen anything like it.
Oh man, that is ridiculous. Yeah. Hmm.
That's now Bruno is like negotiating a contract the way he's been speaking.
Yeah,
We're going to
yeah. Okay, the funny thing is now, yeah, with Bruno, you can clearly see what he's doing. It's
of
like
course.
because he had a good probably ending to the season, he's trying to use that now as a way of because he's
Yeah,
thinking there's money available because of who's left. So he's trying to
exactly.
capitalize on his popularity with the fans, the fact that he's captain. And to be honest with you, if Ineos have anything about them, they'll just say to him, no, and
Nah,
force
man.
him to go. Because
Exactly.
if Ineos make the mistake and give him a pay rise, it just it will tell me what I need to know about Man United. And
Yeah, exactly.
I
We
think it'll
don't
be
have
time to
money.
just
Exactly. We don't have money, so we are going to give it
yeah.
the little money we have, we'll give it to Bruno. Like, God help us. That's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, it's mad. What the thing is, do you think Man United are going to sign Elise? Because
I don't think so.
I don't think so even though I don't think
You
so.
know what? I wouldn't push too hard for Elise
Yeah,
because
what? Because Ahmad's there.
no, it's not because Man United is there.
Yeah, yeah,
Because we are here. Because look,
mm,
like I said I think I said that to you on the previous show, but he's a good, talented player that is not from the academy. So I expect him, just like Martial and Sancho, to be lazy and think he's bigger than the club in 6 months because that's what our fans do.
okay, yeah, 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 okay,
He's
yeah.
going to be put on the bench because he has an attitude problem in
Problem.
train, and he's going to think he's going to be arrogant. Like, of course, I know that this is what I'm saying is that what the fans and the media will say. I don't believe him to be arrogant or lazy or anything. Of course not. But just the same as Martial, just the same as Pogba. If he's like, and we talked about this you and I the last time. Like there are many criteria, and then Are you English? Are you from the academy? Are you light skinned, black, or white, or this or that?
Mm.
And you just reorganize like a hierarchy of structure. And he's not English. He's a black man.
And he's
He's
French.
talented. He's French. He's talented. Talented goes
Yeah.
against United. If you are talented and not English, boy oh boy, you're in trouble.
And as well, you know what plays into it? He's got a language style, the way he plays. He's not 100 miles an hour. And that
Exactly.
automatically will put him in that category of he's lazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's bigger than the club. This is something that's funny to me. Like, who thinks they're bigger than the club?
Yeah, it's nonsense, man. It's nonsense. It's just nonsense from fans really that don't really understand the game. They're just fans of the club, but their interest is because I think a lot of these fans they just like players that run around a lot, as we said before.
Exactly.
And unless you're doing that in their eyes, you know you're not really running for the cause. That's how they look at
Exactly.
it. But
Because they
yeah,
don't want to look at football. They want football
mm,
to look at them, the fans.
yeah,
They don't want to look, they're not watching the games and seeing what happens. Like, how can you explain what Busquets does to the random average fan?
you can't,
You can't.
can't.
They want him to look, they want Busquets to play for them, to look at them, to tackle, to oh, this is obvious. This is what he does. But the
Yeah,
short passes, the give a pass and make yourself available. The the pass before the pass before the pass, that is an important pass that, but it's not
mm,
and it's not the previous pass. But those things matter. But you can't put that on an Excel sheet. So just like creativity at the moment, like this is the most. I think creativity is the thing that the concept that annoys me the most in football now. Like there's
yeah,
been a few, but creativity really, really does my head in.
yeah,
Like because creativity by definition cannot be measured. It's creativity for Christ's sake.
mm,
Like you can't scale creativity. Like if I, for example, I give you a like there's a sculpture I like in the Louvre in Paris, the Victory of Samothrace, for example. It's a beautiful sculpture.
okay,
And then there's a Starry Night from Van Gogh, for example, or Henri Matisse painting. Two different types of form arts. How do you judge the creativity? How do you scale it? You can't scale creativity. For example, I don't know if what type of music you listen to, but if you listen to many genre of music, like for example, you like, I don't know, electronic music, and then you like Afro beats, for example.
mm,
They are bangers in both styles.
yeah, yeah,
How do you grade them against one another? Which one is more creative? You can't judge creativity based on chances, goals, and passes and stuff like that.
yeah,
So what are we doing? What are we doing? Like
mm,
so, and a player like Olise is the type of player like Sancho,
yeah,
like Busquets, like they will just like Martial, for example, that will just receive a ball, control
yeah.
it, make it just a quick pass to someone else running, and that is the creative bit. But
Mm.
people don't see it; they can't see it.
I
So
think what it is, I think they just expect every player to be doing the same kind of thing, you know. I think if you look at players that are regarded in the league as the best chance creators, they'll probably tell you it's De Bruyne and Bruno. And if you
Bruno,
look at the way De Bruyne and Bruno play, it's very identical in the way they create chances. I think De Bruyne more or less picks out people, whereas Bruno is more obviously into space. And I think because the media big up De Bruyne and Bruno, I think a lot of these fans, as I say, that don't know what they're watching, they'll just expect a lot of players to be doing what they're doing.
exactly.
But that's just the style of player that they are, you know.
Yeah,
And that's what the problem is in football is now. I think it's having an appreciation for different styles of players, you know. And if you look at the front line will tell you all you need to know of what the manager's playing. They
yeah,
all fit the same criteria. They all just run. Rashford's
yeah,
got pace. Garnacho just keeps running, and the Hoyland don't stop running.
yeah.
And that's why these fans, especially with Garnacho and Hoyland, they're clinging on to. But what they don't actually realize is that yeah, they're young, but they're not gonna get Man United to where Man
You should.
United should be going to.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's all right, you know what I mean? It's like they are what they are, but when they're trying to hold these players as so I heard recently as well that Man United have made, I think it's Garnacho, Hoyland, Kobe Minu,
Untouchable.
Lissandro Martinez, and I think Dallo